everybody, and welcome to the Northwest Line and N Scale, a Chicago Northwestern model railroad. My name's Andrew, and I'll be building this thing out over the next couple years. And I just wanted to kind of go over the how and the why in the beginning of what actually got me started in model railroading. When I was a young kid, I had a 4x8 piece of plywood with a HO model train on it that had a giant oval with a couple turnouts. And it got me started in model railroading, but it quickly went away to other things like soccer and chasing girls and going into the military and stuff like that. So I lost track of model railroading for a long time, and then in my early 50s, the doc said, "Hey Andy, you got to find something to do. Can't really work the farm anymore." And so I talked to my wife, and it's important in model railroading, if you're going to do it, you have to have spouse faction. If you don't have a spouse that's going to support you in something like this, it's going to be tough. And the sweet bee said, "Yeah, go for it." So I immediately started looking on YouTube to find some stuff, to see what I could do, my skill level. And, I know I wanted to model the Chicago Northwestern, specifically between Barrington and Crystal Lake, because that's where I grew up. And I have a lot of precious memories from that, whether it be, watching the trains go by, or everybody knows about the bridge that goes from Fox River Grove to Cary. And we'd climb up that rock face there and watch the trains go by there. And thank you to Officer Sensen in Fox River Grove for never busting us. We appreciate that. So that's my kind of emphasis at the beginning and the why. And but when I was thinking about doing it, I was like, do I really have the time and the skills to do this? And I came across a couple of YouTube pages, and I just wanted to give them special mention right here. The first one is N-Scale Chicago Northwestern Harvard Sub, and it's run by a guy named Tim. And he starts off with the Wisconsin division layout, and it's just a 2x4 piece of bench work where he builds a massive switching layout on it, and he's running trains on it. And it's not even back and forth, or it's all back and forth. It's not like an oval where you can just run train. But that's where he, learned his craft, the ballasting, the rail work, the lighting, and all that. And it really inspired me. Like, man, maybe I can do this. And when it was Chicago Northwestern, and I saw those pretty Chicago Northwestern paint schemes, I was like, oh man, I think I can do it. The other one is DJ's Trains. He's an engineer with CSX Railroad, and he does a lot of modeling. And he's been kind of quiet lately, but he is flying the drone with his girlfriend. And DJ, that's awesome. Keep up the amazing work. You've really inspired me to say, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the thing that DJ brings to the table is how something would actually work. Why would the train run through there? So when I was modeling everything, I wanted to make sure that I had a realistic expectation and a realistic track plan. So with that, this is what I came up with. Instead of 48 inches long, we're going to go 60 inches long, so I'm going to get an extra 12 inches in there. And instead of 24 inches, we're going to go 32 inches, an extra 8 inches to give us some bigger turns, and you're going to see why right now. So I did a double oval layout in DCC. I wanted to be able to run my commuter train on the outer loop with those nice 13-inch curves. I know they could be bigger, but for my purposes, this is the space that I've got to work with, where my spouse will not get angry at me and get upset, and so I want to honor her. I'm supposed to honor her, so I want to make sure I do that. But this is going to be the bench work. It's going to be 60 inches long, 32 inches wide, and I'm going to be able to build that, I hope, in 3 or 4 days. And it's just going to take me 3 or 4 days to build it, and you might be able to build it in 30 minutes, but with how I am, it's going to take me a couple days at the best, in the best of times. So I'm going to get that built, and I'm going to document all that too, which is going to be pretty cool. I think a lot of people appreciate starting someone at 52 starting, and you'll see when it gets there. But you got to have more than that. You got to have some industries. So this is my track plan that I hope to completely build, and these are the structures, and here are the trains that go on it. So starting here on the far right, this is Totem Lumber in Fox River Grove, somewhere between 1978 and 1982, somewhere in there. That's the long building where the lumber was kept outside. This is the hardware store, and the train and the track actually went between the two structures. So that's prototypical. That's pretty close to the real thing. Is it going to be, exactly rivet counter type quality? No. For me to have fun, and that's the number one goal, is to have fun. Number two, make it realistic, and number three, make sure you can afford it. Um, so going over here, this is the Fox River Grove rail station. I'm going to build the platforms um, to scale, measure it all out, and try to build a platform there. And this is going to be the Fox River Grove Railroad Station from 1978 to 82, that old railroad station, if that, we all remember that. The smell in there was something that was just, once you smelled it once, you always remembered it. Then this is where it gets kind of anti-prototypical in that we're going to have an engine repair shop, maintenance shop right here. 2 tracks going into it because I'm going to have 2 GP9s on this layout. And this is going to be the paint factory where they make paint for True Value. I know it wasn't called that back in 1978 to 82 range. I haven't found what its name is, but I've got some friends in Cary who are actually looking for me. And that's going to be pretty slick. So I'm going to model that. And when I get that all done, this would take me 2-3 years to do all day long. Because there's just some days where I can't really work on the model railroad, life and everything like that. So this is a pretty grand plan. But something that DJ and Tim said is you got to have a way for you to go off the railroad, and you have to have it make sense. And I'm Yankee by birth, but Southern by grace. And boom, look at this. This is from Chicago to Harvard, and this is from Harvard to Chicago. I've got a way to switch out there, and it completely adds realism into the whole thing. And it's going to be really cool if I get to this point. I'd be very shocked if I do, but here's praying to it. And so this is going to be kind of like the whole going in game plan. I've got an F7 on the way. I've got 2 GP9s, one that's DCC, one that I'm going to have to install a decoder in. It's an old 1995 Atlas GP9. It was pretty cool, and I'm excited to do that. And I might show that. I don't know. But until I get all my rolling stock and engines in, I want to make sure that I just kind of show the track plan and whatnot. But this is all going to be DCC. And when you look at this is actually a very, well, for many of you watching, it'll be a very simple thing. For me, this is a lot of complicated stuff going on. And so I looked at this and I was like, this is just too much. I need to scale this down. So I did. And this is what I came up with. 48 inches long, 24 inches wide. The track plan, just a simple oval with 2 turnouts, 2 industries. Got the train station, and I've got totem lumber. And I think I can build this bench work in a day if I'm lucky. And that's, using the saw, making the cuts. I've already got the lumber for it. When you're a farmer, you have a wood pile of forgotten mistakes. And I've built a lot of chicken shaws and chicken tractors in my time. Raised a lot of chickens organically, pasture raised. And we still got the sheep and the dogs. But I can't get out there and do the stuff that I need to do anymore. It's kind of depressing, which is another reason I'm kind of excited to have this hobby, because it'll keep my mind and my hands working as best as they can. And so, this will be hopefully ready to go by the end of Christmas, January, to see if I can actually get the track laid and DCC hooked up, and I'll document it all for YouTube. And it'll be cool because we'll see another Chicago Northwestern N-scale model railroad going down the tracks. And of course, you've got to have a way to get off the layout. So I do have an option to put in a turnout here to go off the railroad. But I honestly feel if I get this far done and I get this oval done and working, and I scratch build the Fox River Grove Railroad Station and totem lumber, I think that'll be enough to me to go to the Sweet Bee and say, sweetheart, is it all right if I go back to what I really wanted to try to build, which is all of this. And obviously it would just start right with this right here. because I think that would be really cool. Something that always got me really excited was having two trains running at the same time. And with DCC, I'll be able to have the commuter train on the outer track with those 13-inch curves going slowly. And I'll be able to be operating my GP9s, servicing different industries, going to the shop, going there, and then parking the GP9, bringing in the commuter train to stop at the railroad station. I know it's a little bit anti-prototypical to switch over and then back up into the train station, but that's just how it is. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I'd really like to hear what people have to say about my idea and my layout, and if you want to leave a comment, you can in the comment section below, or you can email me at cnw_andrew@hotmail.com. I look forward to sharing this journey with you. I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.